Hey there, Verdict listeners. Senator Cruz and I just had a unique opportunity. We sat down with Hercules. We did the man himself, Hercules, or at least the man who played Hercules. That would be Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo, who's done a Herculean feat, namely survive in Hollywood as a Christian and a conservative for a very, very long time. We talked about the industry. We talked about what it's like out there for a conservative these days. And we talked about the increasing censorship going all around our country. You saw it most recently in the attempt to cancel poor Joe Rogan. We are very excited to bring this interview to you. If you have not already signed up on Locals for Verdict Plus, go do it. What are you waiting for? Ring the bell here, subscribe to the Verdict YouTube channel, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts, subscribe to Verdict. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review. We really appreciate that. And without further ado, Hercules. A man who needs no introduction, been in a whole lot of movies, Hercules himself.
Most watched TV show in the world. I have to say that because we, 7 years in 176 countries. I know it. I talked earlier with your father. I said it's a sin of pride, but I have to say it.
So Kevin, why is it that there's a market failure? I mean, there are tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of consumers in the United States who would like movies that are not just filled with profanity and sex and violence, would like an inspirational story, would like something funny, would like something you can take your kids to and not be embarrassed. Why is Hollywood not meeting that demand? You would think that capitalists would respond where the demand was.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think you know the answer to that one, because Hollywood is pretty much the same side as the left side of Washington, D.C. And I don't fit in too well. I mean, I feel like I'm at an AA meeting when I say, hi, I'm a Christian and conservative.
Hi, my name's Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
But the battle is certainly there. And their ideology is so far crazy. I told the Netflix, I said, my last meeting, I said, look, get past your ideology and your hate towards conservatives and Christians. Laugh all the way to the bank at how stupid we are. You guys are capitalist. Can't say you're not. You can pretend like you're for these far left issues, but the reality is Disney and Paramount want to make their stockholders happy, right? So why are they battling against that is weird to me, because I think it's just it's partly what they've done. It's partly what happens with the mainstream media as well. This push to be down this road instead of that road. My agent and manager, who made a boatload of money off of me for many years, called me in 10 years ago, said, we can't work with you anymore.
Wow.
Because of where I stood. And I looked at it and
was there something that triggered that, or what was the tipping point?
Well, I posted a lot. Facebook has banned me permanently about 8 months. They said to me, they go, well, because of what you're saying and what people are saying that you're saying on the set, because I challenge people on the set when they say they're set, and I go, well, what do you mean by that? Where's your backup? It's like the labels. They love labels. You're a racist. You're a homophobe. Well, show the proof. They don't have the proof to back up they just love their labels. And so I looked at them and said, wow, you guys are the ones who scream for tolerance, scream for freedom of speech, but it's a one-way street with them, and this is the battle we have in front of us right now.
There's this irony that you're observing, which is you're saying, look, I don't want to just have these movies filled with profanity and obscenity and all these gross things. Now, if you did that, if you posted on Facebook and YouTube just filthy, disgusting obscenity, you would probably still be on those platforms today. But because you post conservative content,
But you're not wrong. I've always joked, if I said if I played a transgender Islamic radical terrorist in a movie, I'd probably be up for an Academy Award. You know? But if I do something that's a nice, look, I don't want to do Touched by an Angel. I want to do movies more like Punched by an Angel. I realize the world we're living in, right? But I want to do movies that have a positive message, that resonate with people out there and say, look, here's some hope, here's some freedom, here's some laughter, here's some love, to get rid of the negative. So I want to do movies like Blindside. Green Book. I thought Green Book was another great example. The message is in there, but it's not like in your face. You better believe or you're going to go to hell. I want to do messages that sneak up on people. I don't want to just preach to the choir. And we have the sheep out there. We know we have the sheep. And my job, I think, and it's your job as well, is to wake up the lions. That's what we got to wake up.
So Facebook banned you. Why?
Because I was posting stuff about COVID. I was posting what other doctors were saying. I was posting, even the CDC came out this week and said masks are pretty much useless. They don't do anything, and they really don't. The hospitals are filled with people that have been double jammed in boosters, over 72%. I've got doctor friends, trust me, that in Rochester, the Mayo Clinic, I've got people I know, and they say we can't say anything.
But those are not the doctors you're allowed to listen. You're only allowed to listen to the approved doctors.
But I would post, look at this group of 100 doctors out of Norway, what they say. What are your thoughts? Well, you can't say it. I go, this is I'm just asking people what their opinion is, but that took me down.
So, Michael, I'm curious, are you allowed to just show a video of Fauci saying cloth masks are useless? Because that's what he said before he changed his
post
story.
it all the time. He said it. Yeah.
I actually, on my Daily Wire show, I have a daily podcast over at Daily Wire, I was called into the principal's office the other day, and they said, Michael, we've got to take your show down today. We've got to chop it up and take part of it down. I said, well, why is that? They said, because you claimed that the vaccines are not as effective as they were promised to be and that the masks don't work as well as we were told they would. And I said, well, I actually didn't claim that. I played video of Rochelle Walensky, the CDC director, and Dr. Fauci saying that. They said it doesn't matter. Even them, that violates YouTube's policies. And so someone said the other day—
You mean truth?
The truth violates YouTube.
Yeah, just want to make sure.
Someone said the other day, they said, Joe Rogan, #1 broadcaster, they said he's not a scientist. And that's true, he's not a scientist. But the scientists that he interviews are. The doctors that you are posting are. And yet you're not allowed to post.
And I got to say, Joe Rogan is no Neil Young. That was one of the funniest. Yeah. So Neil Young, my first reaction was, he's still alive? And
old man.
Look,
he's the old man now. Right?
Babylon B said, people under the age of 40 are Googling, who's Neil Young?
By the way, I asked my staff, all my staff are under 40. None of them had any idea who he was. I had to Google, and they're like, what song? I just, well, here, I can find some song. He's got a super high voice, you know. And I did some quick math. So Neil Young, in the course of his career, and he's, mid-70s, he sold 75 million records. That's a lot of records. That's
75 million more than I sold.
Yeah. He demands Spotify take down Joe Rogan or I'm taking my music. Joe Rogan gets 11 million viewers per episode, and he's done 1,178 episodes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 11 million times 1,178 is a really big number. and so the whole, it was like, seeing Neil Young doing that reminded me of like a little chihuahua yapping at a Great Dane. Like you're just like, wait, this is an easy mathematical formula, but I say that, I'm still amazed Spotify did the right thing.
Yeah.
And yanked Neil Young.
I think it was money involved as well. I mean, what did he sign a contract for $100 million or
more?
Yeah, it's big. And so but I get it. God bless him. I'm a capitalist as well, so it's great. Neil Young is not bringing in that kind of money to Spotify.
Actually, Neil Young has gotten the most press in the past 2 weeks that he has in 25 years.
Yeah. It was a marketing coup. Maybe Neil Young is a capitalist too. That might be.
I think he enjoys selling 75 million albums.
Yes. So what is to be done about this? Because we were talking earlier about cartels. There is a sort of media cartel. This does not seem like the freest, most open market here. So what is to be done about a handful of powerful leftists in Hollywood controlling all of the media, a handful of leftists in Silicon Valley controlling the media?
But there's so many good crews out there right now. There's so many talented people on both sides of the camera. People want to work. And the thing with Hollywood is I've been doing independent movies now for about 10 years on my own, pretty much on my own. I haven't had any help with Hollywood whatsoever. It's a matter of just, how do you get your message out there? When we have these Spider-Man movies and Avenger movies, they have $300 million budgets.
Yeah.
They have another $100 million they promote them on through watching your football game or watching your soap opera where they throw the trailer at you constantly. We don't have that kind of money to do it. It's all word of mouth. God's Not Dead was an anomaly. $2 million movie made $140 million.
Right. Wow.
That's unbelievable. But it comes down to word of mouth. And we need you and the viewers, the people, to somehow find out how these movies are out there. We do the best we can with $1 million to promote the movies that I do and some of the other faith-based or family-friendly production companies out there. We need that support out there. Because without the word of mouth, we're going to get beat up, and Hollywood's going to keep winning the culture war.
So let me ask something. You've had the courage to speak out, and you have paid a price.
Yeah.
How many people in the movie business, how many actors, how many writers, how many gaffers and set designers are not radical leftists who hate America? How many people are in the closet and afraid to speak right now?
In the closet is right. There's a lot. I was at a taping recently of a sitcom. Well, recently, it was about 3 years ago. And one of the camera guys comes up to me during the break. It was a live taping of a sitcom. And he said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Because I'd done that show before as a guest star. He goes, "I'm the only guy on the set here." He goes, "I really appreciate everything you're doing." Yeah, and it's everybody's afraid to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
They're afraid. I came out of that conservative closet, so to speak, and I just got tired of it. My wife warned me about it. I just got to a point, I said, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why can't I don't get angry at someone who has a different political opinion than I do. I just don't. We do great. Let's talk about it. I recently just directed a movie up in Canada. If anybody knows the Left Behind books, I just did the next chapter. It's Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist. It'll come out sometime next fall. And I had 2 actors that I booked on it. I'm not going to say their names. They're conservative, but they were thanking me for being so outspoken about it. But they said, "Yeah, but I just can't. I can't do it." And it's frustrating, because it's like, well, don't be afraid to walk the walk, And
so let me ask: is there an appetite in the creative community for a movie production company, a Hollywood scale company that makes movies, that's not radically left of center? I'm not even looking for right of center.
I have the company. It's called sorbostudios.com. Go to sorbostudios.com. It's really good. Check it out. Sign up. Just give us information. I mean, seriously, we are always looking for funders. I mean, it's weird that trying to raise $3 million for a movie. You got to get out there and really hit the pavement running hard. Because I play golf with a lot of very wealthy guys that are conservative. And, they give a lot of money to people like you, and I want people like you in there, trust me. So, we need more people like you. But we're in the same boat with the independent film world because we're trying to always raise money for the next movie. I've got amazing scripts that need to be done. I've been very fortunate to keep busy. I do 3, 4 a year, but they're not always ones that I always end up funding, but 2 of the last 4 from last year that we did. One's a wonderful movie here based in Texas, Miracle in East Texas. It's coming out hopefully this year as well. True story set in 1930. It's got a little bit of the Hunt family in there and how they became wealthy as well, but it's a true story. Yeah. And I hope people will love it when it does come out. But we need more people to support these things financially as well, and that's always the battle that we have. I'm always busy looking for the next, hey, boom, let's make this movie. Because the thing is, like I said, it's a cultural battle. Yeah. It's a cultural battle, and I think to win it back not only comes from the political world, but also comes from the media world as well.
You and I were talking last night. You were telling about this movie about the Hunt family in the 1930s. I mentioned to you there's a great book, and Michael, if you haven't read it, you should read it. It's called Big Rich.
I'm going to get it.
No, I haven't read it.
I wrote it down last night.
And it tells the story of 4 legendary Texas families, Texas oil families, and part of what makes Texas Texas is we were founded by a bunch of wildcatters who basically had 4th grade educations, who drilled holes in the ground.
That's better than most high school grads today.
That's true.
They became one after the other the richest man on earth. Yeah. And it's something. So H.L. Hunt, the patriarch, was a bigamist.
Yeah.
He lived in Dallas.
A couple families going.
He lived in Dallas. He had Mrs. Hunt. He had his kids. He had a second wife in Houston who was a member of the country club and would introduce herself as Mrs. H.L. Hunt. And he had kids down there. And this is, at the time, the richest man on earth. And you didn't have the internet. So the 2 families, I think, didn't know of each other. Wow. One in Houston, one in Dallas. I mean, that's bizarre.
Well, back in 1930, you can get away with that. You couldn't get away with that today.
Now we have Twitter, it's all going to be across the world.
Miracle in East Texas, a true story about 2 con men that went through Oklahoma and Texas, wooing widows out of their money on fake oil wells. They will sell 500% of the shares. This is true. Yeah. Declare a dry hole, move to the next one. So they get to Spindletop, Kilgore. They strike oil by accident. They end up getting arrested because you can't have 500% of anything. Yeah. So while they're in jail, awaiting trial, awaiting sentencing, in comes H.L. Hunt. We changed the name to L.D. Hines in the movie. And he says, look, I'm gonna help you boys get out of jail. I'm gonna buy up all your worthless shares, pay back everybody ripped off with real shares. I mean, he made a lot of people very wealthy. My character says, what about us? We found the oil. He said, son, you're gonna get your freedom, and freedom ain't free.
So I do have to ask, so you changed Hunt to Hines. Is there a reason they're both catch-up names?
I probably think the writer did that on purpose. The writer's Dan Gordon. He's an Academy Award nominated writer. He wrote The Hurricane, Denzel Washington. He wrote 60 episodes of Highway to Heaven. He was a showrunner. Yeah. That's a great writer. And I'm about to do one of his movies in Poland called Irina's Vow. True story, smaller version of Schindler's List, but we're shooting this summer.
Wow.
Where I get to play not a very nice guy.
Are you a Nazi?
But I guess
You're a
we're
bad
Nazis
guy?
really good guys back then anyway. I'm playing a bad guy.
All right, so which is more fun, playing a good guy or bad guy?
I think I played so many good guys in my life. It's kind of fun to play the bad guy. This guy's the first bad guy I played that didn't have any redemption in him, though. There's no redemption in him. But with God's Undead there was, and also with Let There Be Light there was as well. So this is a different kind of movie, but it's a pretty amazing script, and we're shooting it in Poland. I'm looking forward to it. So
well, I'll look forward to watching it too, and we'll have to announce it to our Verdict listeners when it comes out. But thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. It's good to be here.
Look forward to seeing all those 7,000.
SorboStudios.com.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.